Hello, it's Nichole Hill, creator and host of Our Ancestors Were Messy. Welcome to the mini-sode and the midway point for this season. This week, I want to bring you behind the scenes and share with you how you can support this podcast. And then, of course, we'll end with a preview of next week's episode. All right, so the headline is, I could really use your help in planning for the future of this show. I got the idea for Our Ancestors Were Messy back in 2020 when I found these historical newspapers and started reading them for fun. Obviously, I love how juicy and in everyone's business they were, but and maybe you figured this out by now, I was in awe of their conversations about how to beat Jim Crow. They were always strategizing. They thought maybe we'd beat it by becoming powerful and elite like the Francises of episode 1, or farmers and landowners like the Michauds of episode 2, or artists like the Harlem Renaissance stars of episode 4. Even when the ancestors were just telling each other love stories like we got to share in episode 3, they still had this undertone of, we need to lift as we climb, we need to beat Jim Crow. They tried everything they could think of, and just like today, they weren't sure what would work. They disagreed with one another a lot. They even hated each other in some cases. I mean, these coalitions were messy. But they were united in one thing, and that was ending apartheid in America, and they did it. I had no idea how relevant that part of their story would be today. So back in 2021, I made a spreadsheet of dozens and dozens of topics and dramas I wanted to cover, and then I went out to all these studios to try to find funding, So you know how a lot of podcasts are like two friends on a mic having a chat, just like freestyling? That's what studios want to be making. And I knew that. So I was like, I am that. It's so chill over here. We're just like gossiping. But then they started asking all these questions. And I had to be like, well, yeah, episodes do take months to research. And then I spend a few weeks writing these like 20-page-ish scripts with my producers that I read to my guests. And those conversations usually last a couple hours because it's emotional hearing these stories for the first time. So I got to edit those down and then I get to work with sound designers to turn them into little movies for listeners because I love that. But like all in a very chill way. Like basically just we're hopping on the mic and we're talking. And the studios were like, absolutely not. We're not funding that. Get out. So in the end, I decided to, as my EP is always saying, bet on myself. And I borrowed against my savings and I made this season on my own, independently. And I am so glad I did because I adore producing this show and sharing it with you and hearing what you think. And I would love to keep going, but I don't have any more money. So I'm asking for your help in charting a path to a second season. You could do either or both of these two things. 1, you can join the household at ourancestorsweremessy.supercast.com. This is the community of donors who support the show with a monthly gift that helps to cover the costs of production, which includes things like subscriptions to archives and music libraries and editing software and all that labor I told you about earlier. Once you're a member of the household, you have access to my director's commentary for each episode, deleted scenes, and bonus content. Thank you to everyone that signed up already. You have made such a difference, and your support is why I'm even thinking a second season is possible. If you'd like to join the household and become a monthly donor, sign up at ourancestorsweremessy.supercast.com. The link is also in the show notes. And the second way you can help is by telling people about this podcast. Rate it on your listening app of choice and leave a review. All those things help me tell the story of the show and what it's meant to have it out in the world. And also, I just like to know. All right, y'all, it's been such a pleasure getting to tell you these stories. Welcome to the second half of the season and to your preview of next week's episode.
The Secret Adventures of Black People presents Our Ancestors Were Messy.
Zora's acting out all these hilarious moments from her travels, and Langston is like laughing and pitching ideas.
Today, hear how the once loving friendship between Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes turns sour.
How did my play end up in Cleveland? And Langston is like, Zora, that's not the point. How did our play end up with just your name on it?
This episode stars artist, writer, and facilitator Alicia Walters.
She did the thing where she didn't have the conversation and she just licked her wounds by herself.
She did.
And your host, Nichole Hill.
So they start to divide up into factions, Team Zora versus Team Langston.
This is Our Ancestors Were Messy, a show about our ancestors and all their drama.
Ooh, I did not see that coming.